So good afternoon, everybody. We've got a few more people to join, but we'll get underway now. My name's Neil Henry, and I'm the Economic Development Manager at Marlborough District Council. I'm also one of the people involved in the team Economic Recovery work. I'd just like to acknowledge Mark Peters, who's on the call, who's the chair of the team. He's on the call today. This project has emerged from the Labour and Business Support Group, which is one of the subgroups of the team effort. And there's a number of people involved in that, including some of the people on the call today. And one of the things we realised is that there's a whole bunch of things available to businesses, but perhaps it's not, it changes a lot, and we need to keep everybody up to date with that. So we had the concept of today's event, which we are recording, so we can share it afterwards, of trying to contact with the intermediaries, such as yourselves, who regularly contact with businesses, and then let you know what's available, so you can then hopefully pass that information on. So kind of a one-to-many approach. So you've got the just to share the screen, the slideshow there, Liz. I can talk about the purpose slide there. So, do the next slide, please. As I say, this is the purpose. So if you are able to learn more about what's going on, then hopefully you can pass that on. This information will, of course, change, but also you'll have the contact details of the people who are delivering today's talks, and you better get in touch with them as things do keep changing. As you can see, the event is being recorded, and we do intend to make that available for you to pass on to other intermediaries or to pass on to your clients. If there's anything you're unsure about, and that will be on the council's team website, and also we'll be emailing a link to you. Just with Zoom, if you can mute your microphones, as most of you have, I think, if you're not, as you won't be speaking, except of course the speakers. If you could hold your questions to the end, we're having a Q&A session there, so if you could hold your questions, but to help you remember them, you feel free to type them into the chat box as you're going along, and we can pick those up at the end. So just to tell you about the four speakers, first we've got Michelle Martin from the Ministry of Social Development. Michelle will be talking for 15 minutes about the MSD products, and I'll be trying to keep everyone to time. That's one of my tasks today, so I'll let you know each of the speakers if you're running ahead or running behind. Next up is Holly Wright from the IRD, who'll also be talking for about 15 minutes. Then Catherine Stewart from the Chamber of Commerce, who'll be talking about the Regional Business Partner Programme for 5 minutes. And finally, we've got a recording of Brian Dawson from Business Trust Marlborough. Brian wasn't available today, but he provided a recording of what they can offer, which we'll be playing as the fourth of the speakers. That will be followed by a 15-minute Q&A session, so we hope to be finished within an hour. So I'd just like to hand over to Michelle. Michelle, I think Alan and Liz will be operating the slideshow for you, to just let them know when you want to change over. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Neil. As Neil said, kia ora koutou, ko Michelle Martin taku ingoa. I'm the Labour Market Manager for the Top of the South region for the Ministry of Social Development. Our area covers Kaikoura up through Marlborough, across Nelson Tasman and down the west coast to Haas, and all that lies in between. I do have a lot of information to present today, so I am going to try and keep it brief, and I do appreciate that there's a lot of words on the screen, so I will not read the words on the screen, but I'll tell you a little bit about the information that is there. So let's get started. Can we have a click? Awesome. So Connected Centres and the Employment Service. MSD have a large employment team located across our region, and we're continuing to grow this with specialist roles. For Marlborough specifically, our current team are Heather Manners, Employment Coordinator, Lester Neal and Sharon Barclay, Work Brokers, and we have some recruitment underway for additional roles in Blenheim. Our point of difference as an employment service is that we offer a no-fee service, and currently across New Zealand we have the largest client base. We also work with New Zealanders who do not wish to register for a benefit, however would like support to find work. What's showing on the screen here is a little bit about the Connected, which is a new service to help New Zealanders connect to a wide range of employment, education and advice through government agencies, and this service is continuing to evolve. MSD is leading this cross-agency work, which includes a website, a phone line and a face-to-face service to help people access the support and a full range of assistance that's available. This is an all-of-government initiative, and there are 35 connected sites across the country, and one is located at the Blenheim Work and Income site. We are starting to host employers at our Blenheim site, and we're supporting recruitment drives through this. This space is for everyone, and we invite you to join us or talk to us about how it can work for them. Next, please. Wonderful, thank you. So you may have heard about a FlexiWage product with MSD in the past. As noted on the screen, FlexiWage is a subsidy available to employers to support job seekers on the job. If you're interested in hiring one of our candidates, but they would need more support to gain the required skills for the job, we're able to help with a subsidy for things like training and mentoring. There is also a FlexiWage self-employment product specific to support people wanting to enter self-employment and exit benefit. And we also have new options to support retaining and retraining of existing employees who would otherwise be made redundant. These options are quite specific to the individual or the employer's circumstances, so I encourage anyone who has questions about these products to touch base with our local employment team. Thanks. All right, work start support. This one, we're jumping now to what we can offer to individuals as opposed to employers. So the 3 items noted on the screen are how we have examples of how we can support job seekers to start employment. The 5K to work is where a person may be eligible to get assistance if they qualify for a benefit and need to move to take up a job. So that's around relocation. I've made a mistake on the slide. It says seasonal work allowance. We mean seasonal work assistance, and you may have seen a little bit of that in the media announcement on Friday. So the assistance is for seasonal workers who have exited benefit in the last 6 months, and while they're working in seasonal employment, they may have been rained off for a day, and therefore we have a product to support them so they don't have loss of wages. And we're hoping this will assist people to take up this work without a barrier being I won't be paid if it's rained off. And the rates have just been increased to make sure that they're much more amenable with the new wage rates. Then we have a wider product called Transition to Work, which is available to pay for things that a person needs to find or start a job. It could be clothes, travel, or it could be living expenses until your first pay if you're not paid weekly. Thanks on that one. Now we go back to the products for employers and individuals. So Mana and Mahi, the Strength and Work program, is to help people who need additional support to get paid jobs and gain skills and experience. It supports them into long-term sustainable employment while gaining an apprenticeship or formal industry qualification. We support employers to recruit people into permanent positions and support them through industry training. We provide participants, so the individual, your then employee, with incentive payments and ongoing support along the way. Thank you. That's all on Mana and Mahi today. Apprenticeship Boost is a payment to help employers keep and take on new apprentices. The payment is made directly to employers and is administered through an online portal. The program is only available to employers with apprentices in their first 2 years of study towards a TEC approved apprenticeship. And on the screen, there is some more information there. Give you a minute to read that. Good. Regional apprenticeship initiatives. Now, disclaimer here, this isn't an MSD product, it's an MBIE program. However, while we're talking about apprenticeships such as Mana and Mahi or Apprenticeship Boost, I always like to include this to make people aware as well. The Māori Trades and Training Fund initiative aims to fund projects that upskill Māori, support communities and provide meaningful opportunities into employment. The fund will take a partnership approach as proposals must be designed and delivered by Māori for Māori and address labour market barriers in communities, and also to promote the development of skills in need and to create pathways for Māori individuals to move into more formal training. This is one of the initiatives that comes under the Regional Apprenticeships Initiatives, which you can find on www.growregions.govt.nz. Thank you. Now this one I'm a little bit passionate about, so I'm going to try and hold myself back from saying too much, but Youth Employment Success has recently launched in Nelson, Tasman and Marlborough. It's a program that connects young people with positive employment-focused opportunities. The program is hosted online at youthemployer.nz and is promoted through a strong social media presence. Employers sign up to a range of opportunities, allowing young people to explore pathways within our regions while gaining more confidence and interactions with employers and employment processes. Opportunities may include work experience, internships, industry walkthroughs, coffee dates, or more. We are also able to facilitate youth employment success events, much like an open night, industry talk, or online Zoom webinar about career pathways. The real aim of this program is not so much about employers being able to offer a job at this point in time. It's about them being able to connect with a young person and help them. So there's a lot of evidence that shows if our young people can have positive engagement with employers as they develop towards a career pathway, their pathway into employment is significantly better for them because they have the confidence in that space. So as I said, for your sake, I will stop, but we're looking to expand this in the new year, and we will be reaching out to look for more employers in Marlborough to join this. Not sure if you want to play the video. We might leave that to question and answers if anyone says they'd like to see it, but mainly if you go to youthemployer.nz, you'll see the first lot of employers there. One more slide, please. Skills for Industry is a program that is about supporting groups or wider skill shortages. So a lot of the products we've talked about are at a one-to-one level. So one employer, one individual. It could obviously be one employer, multiple individuals, but they're geared up towards that one-to-one unless the employer needs more. A Skills for Industry program is around looking at industry-specific skills for a job, and then we may be able to offer funding and support to help with short-term pre-employment or in-work training. So I've worked on this product for quite some time, and I often like to describe it as if as an industry they need people who can stand on their head, sing a song, and also tap their feet at the same time, that there might be a raft of people who can tap their feet, but they need their training to be able to pick up the singing the song and the standing on their head. That's what a Skills for Industry training does. It tries to support people to be at the entry level for starting the job with the basic skills. Basically, training can be delivered to meet your requirements, and we work alongside you to develop what that training program may look like to address a skill shortage. I don't have a final slide, so I'm just going to say it here. Thank you all for your time today listening to what I know was a lot of information to take in. If there was one key takeaway I could give you, it's that our local employment team are very experienced with all the products and services we offer, and will be happy to work alongside you or any of the people you work with around specific circumstances. I will ask after this, when they circulate contacts, to ensure that we have the direct contacts for Heather, Lester or Sharon, so you can contact them, or equally please feel free to walk into our connected site in Blenheim, and anyone, we have a team there all the time ready to assist you. It's not 15 minutes, but that's me.
Thank you, Michelle. That was only 10 minutes. It's very impressive. So maybe we'll have time at the end for your video. So, so well done. Thank you for that. As I say, there will be time for questions at the end, and do please put them in the chat box if you want to help remember them along the way. So please feel free to type in there. Next, I'd like to hand over to Holly Wright from the IRD. You there, Holly?
Yes, I'm here. Kia ora koutou. My name is Holly Wright, and with me today is my colleague Bronwyn Jones. We work within the Community Compliance team in Inland Revenue in Nelson. In a nutshell, Community Compliance provide frontline services for our customers to help improve voluntary compliance through the relationships we foster in our communities and the services we provide. We have several service offerings available to support local businesses through the economic effects of COVID-19, which include mobile office appointments, one-to-one business advisories, face-to-face seminars and online seminars, contacting IR, support to our customers throughout the impacts of COVID-19. And all of the information that I'll be presenting today is available on our website at ird.govt.nz. Fantastic. So Inland Revenue hold mobile office appointments at the Blenheim Service Centre on the last Thursday of each month. Bookings are required for this service. To book a mobile office appointment, contact our 0800 number and advise you'd like to see a community compliance officer and what you'd like assistance with. Next slide, please. We also offer one-to-one business advisories by appointment at a place best suited to our customers. So this could be at their home or their business or wherever they feel comfortable. We're also happy to do virtual or phone advisories for our customers that have the technology to support this. Businesses can arrange a visit from a community compliance officer by using our Inquire About a Business advisory or social policy seminar service online by searching smaller organisations, visits, seminars and advice. So that's all available on the IR website. Next slide, please. We're also available to present our Introduction to Business seminar and GST workshops at the Blenheim NMIT each month. Our 2021 seminar and workshop dates will be available on our website later this month, where businesses can register their attendance. To register interest in our seminars and workshops, head over to our website and select the seminars menu. From here, you can see all of our upcoming events. We also have online versions of our face-to-face seminars that can be found on our website, which cover the same content as our face-to-face seminars. These include the Introduction to Business seminar, so that covers business structures, business expenses and depreciation, as well as income tax and provisional tax. We have a GST workshop online as well, and that covers registering for a GST account, supplies, record keeping, adjustments, and filing and ceasing GST. We've got our employers workshop as well. So that covers who is an employer, new employees and filing returns and further obligations. And finally, our redundancy seminar, which covers redundancy, tax and entitlements. Next slide, please. So the most effective way to contact us is to send us a message through My IR. As previously mentioned, we can arrange over the phone advisories or virtual meetings if our customers have the technology to support this. Our Nelson front of house is open Monday to Friday from 10 AM to 3 PM for general inquiries, but please be aware that these times may differ from other Inland Revenue sites. Our customers can also call us on our 0800 numbers between 8 AM and 8 PM Monday to Friday, and between 9 AM and 1 PM on Saturday. Our specific 0800 numbers for different customer groups and tax types are all available on our website under the Contact Us menu. However, for general inquiries, our customers can call 0800 473 566. Next slide, please. So we understand that many businesses and organisations will have changed the way that they operate to respond to the challenge of COVID-19. Inland Revenue have implemented new measures designed to help businesses and their employees deal with the COVID-19 outbreak. We want to help our customers understand the tax implications of these changes. We have a 50-minute COVID-19 for small to medium businesses and organisations webinar available for businesses to register their interest, in which highlights the initiatives and relief that is available for small to medium businesses and organisations in response to COVID-19, which include information on our temporary loss carryback scheme, our small business cash flow scheme. It covers other relief that is available, filing requirements, information for employers, and how to keep up to date. So just to touch briefly on each of the topics above, we'll just start with our temporary loss carryback scheme. So the temporary loss carryback scheme has been introduced to support customers in the current uncertain economic environment. Businesses expecting to make a loss in either the 2020 year or the 2021 year can use that loss to offset profits that they made the year before. In other words, they can carry the loss back 1 year to the preceding income year, and this can be done before the loss year return is filed. We also have an income equalisation assistance available for farmers, fishers and growers. We're aware that the primary sector is now feeling the impacts of COVID-19, and in particular, it has caused financial issues for farmers, fishers and growers, and is likely to materially affect their income for the 2020 and future income years. Because of this, we are exercising discretion to allow late deposits and early withdrawals from the income equalisation scheme. If you're an affected farmer, fisher or grower, or you act on behalf of one, you must first register for the income equalisation scheme before we're able to exercise discretion around allowing late deposits and early withdrawals from the income equalisation scheme. And this can be done through our online channels. We also have some options around employing staff. So with the wage and leave subsidies, although they weren't administered by Inland Revenue, we do have some things to cover there. So we do understand that the COVID-19 outbreak has created a lot of uncertainty for customers, and that many of our customers will have a sudden reduction of income, and that they may have been in receipt of a wage or leave subsidy. So we want to help our customers to understand the tax implications of these changes. So if you're an employer who was in receipt of the wage or leave subsidies administered by MSD, those subsidies should be passed on to the employee by the employer and will be processed as a part of the employee's normal wages. All deductions such as PAYE, KiwiSaver and child support should still be made as normal. And for more information on returning the wage subsidy for tax purposes, hop onto our website and look up COVID-19 wage subsidy. Next, I'll be covering the small business cash flow loan scheme. You might have seen some of this in the media recently. So organisations and small to medium businesses, including sole traders and the self-employed, may have been eligible for a one-off loan with a term of 5 years if they have been adversely affected by COVID-19. The Small Business Cash Flow Loan Scheme, or SBCS, was introduced to support businesses and organisations struggling because of the loss of actual or predicted revenue as a result of COVID-19. To have been eligible for the SBCS, they must have 50 or fewer full-time equivalent employees. Inland Revenue administers the payments and repayments of this scheme. Applications open for this on the 12th of May 2020. Under current legislation, eligible businesses and organisations are entitled to a one-off loan. The maximum amount loaned is $10,000 plus $1,800 per full-time equivalent employee. The annual interest rate is 3%, beginning from the date of the loan being provided. Interest will not be charged if the loan is fully paid back within 1 year. The Small Business Cash Flow Loan Scheme has now been extended until the end of 2020. Applications can now be submitted up to and including the 31st of December 2020. We also have some information around provisional tax and the changes that have come throughout COVID-19. If a business's circumstances have changed due to COVID-19, they may be able to make an estimate or re-estimate of provisional tax. We can also arrange early refunds if provisional tax has been overpaid. The New Zealand government has recently passed legislation to increase the provisional tax threshold from $2,500 to $5,000. This means that any current provisional taxpayers with provisional tax payments of less than $5,000 will have until the 7th of February following the year that they file to pay their tax bill. This is intended to lower compliance costs for smaller taxpayers and allow them to retain cash for longer. We expect that this will reduce the number of taxpayers paying provisional tax by around 95,000. The provisional tax threshold determines whether a person is a provisional taxpayer in the tax year and whether they are required to pay provisional tax for a tax year. The increased provisional tax threshold from $2,500 to $5,000 for the 2021 tax year and future tax years may mean that some taxpayers no longer have to pay provisional tax. This is a permanent change that takes effect for the 2021 tax year, and for most taxpayers that will be from the 1st of April 2020. We also had some changes to our low value asset threshold for depreciation. Government has recently passed legislation that temporarily increases the low value asset threshold for depreciation from $500 to $5,000. This will allow our customers to deduct the full cost of their business assets with the value of less than $5,000 in the year that they purchased them. This is instead of having to spread the cost over the life of the asset. The low value threshold will be raised further to allow the immediate expensing of assets purchased on or after the 17th of March 2020 that cost less than $5,000. The government is only raising the threshold for a short time until the 16th of March 2021. They're doing this so that our business customers can keep investing in the businesses throughout the COVID-19 outbreak. For assets that are purchased on or after the 17th of March 2021, this threshold will be permanently increased from $500 to $1,000. If businesses are unable to pay their taxes on time due to the impact of COVID-19, we do understand. We encourage businesses to get in touch with us or have their tax agent get in contact with us as soon as possible. We can assist in various ways, including installment arrangements and remitting penalties and interest. We encourage our customers to continue to file as per usual. The information is used to make correct payments to people and to help the government continue to respond to what is happening in the economy. To access this information on the support options available for our customers throughout the impacts of COVID-19, visit our website and keyword search COVID-19 businesses and organisations. So that's all the support that we really have available to our customers through all the challenges that COVID-19 has brought. But we're available for questions later on. So that's all I've got to cover today.
Thank you very much, Holly. Lots of information there. There was a question that came through, which you can perhaps have a look at in the chat, and we will come back to that at the end of after the presentations. You might be ready to have a look at that one. Next, I'd like to hand over to Catherine Stewart of the Chamber of Commerce. Kia ora, Catherine.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. I'm called Catherine Stewart Aho. I'm the Growth Advisor at the Marlborough Chamber of Commerce. Here at the Chamber of Commerce, we deliver the Regional Business Partner Network. And if you're not familiar with the Regional Business Partner Network, it's essentially a nationwide network of support for small and medium enterprises. We help with information, advice, and funding. In a normal year, we're normally helping small businesses grow through, helping them access partial funding for things like business coaching. But this year we've been pretty solidly focused on helping them recover from COVID-19. So what we have available for businesses that have been negatively impacted by COVID-19 is funding to help them pay for advice, for example, from their accountant or their business advisor, so that they can help keep their business viable and sustainable through COVID-19. So the kind of support that's available is There's six key areas. Business continuity planning. So that's, for example, helping businesses with scenario planning or diversification. There's also finance and cash flow management. So for example, a number of our businesses have been looking to their accountants to help them understand what might happen in the future and how they might better manage their cash flow during that time, or they might be looking to refinance and need a cash flow report for discussions with their bank, so we can help with the cost towards that work with their accountant. Health and wellness, you know, a really key area for a lot of business owners who are obviously it's an incredibly stressful time, and the kind of support that's available under this area of support is access to a business advisor who can coach the business owners and their teams in, you know, for example, resilience, stress management. It's not health or counselling, but it's more around how to manage the stresses of COVID-19 in the workplace. Marketing strategy has been a really key area of support for a lot of businesses who may have been just used to the phone ringing before, and now they're actually having to actively promote themselves online, offline. So our funding can help them access a marketing advisor to help them bring together a strategy and understand what the best way is to reach customers. For example, in our tourism industry, a lot of them have been focused on international tourists. Borders are closed, and now they're having to sort of refocus on a domestic market, and they're looking for advice on how they might best pitch themselves and meet that market. The last couple of areas are HR and employment relations. Obviously, one of the sad things about COVID-19 is that businesses are having to make tough choices about their business, including redundancies or restructures. So they can access HR advice through the scheme to understand what their obligations are as an employer, and to advise them on that process. Lastly, there's digital enablement strategy. This is probably it's actually probably sounds quite vague, but it can cover things like back-end systems. So for example, teams who might have been bigger in the past and done things manually are now smaller, and they're looking to see how they might use their digital systems more efficiently to reduce workload. Or for example, they went into lockdown and nothing was digital. They couldn't communicate, nothing was in the cloud. They, didn't know how to communicate with their teams remotely. So it's all around sort of how you might sort of, work remotely or more digitally efficiently, if that's a word. The eligibility criteria for this, businesses must have fewer than 100 full-time equivalents. They must be registered for GST. They have to have been trading before lockdown. So unfortunately, the scheme's not open for businesses who started trading after COVID-19. Essentially the process is, if you think that anyone might be interested or might benefit from the scheme, is to get in touch with me. They go through a registration process for the Regional Business Partner Network, which takes about 5 minutes. And then I have a conversation with them. It takes about 30 minutes, and it's really just to understand how they've been affected by COVID-19 and the type of support that might be most valuable for them at the moment, and how we can help. So there's probably not too much more to say apart from that. So if anyone does want to take advantage of the scheme, please ask them to give me a call at the chamber, and I'll be happy to help.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. To say we will be providing the contact details of all of our speakers today, as well as a recording of today's event. So lastly, we'll hand back to our NDC studio, where Alan and Liz will be providing a recording of Brian Dawson, who unfortunately can't join us today, but he did record his presentation this week.
Brian from Business Trust Marlborough. Apologies, I can't be with you in person today, but I'm really pleased to talk you through the services offered by Business Trust Marlborough. So Business Trust Marlborough is a free business advisory service. We're situated here in the Lifetime Business Hub. We're above Rebel Sports in Main Street. We work to empower new and existing businesses, and we do that in a number of ways. So the first thing that we do is we provide a free one-to-one business consultation which is confidential and independent, and that's with anybody who wants to talk business, so whether that's an existing business owner or somebody that is new to business. The main thing that we do when we're talking to people is connecting them with our volunteer business mentors. So we're matching business owners and prospective business owners both with either a local mentor or, where appropriate, a mentor from another region who has specialist skills. What we also provide on a regular basis is free startup business training. So we run a really good 4-hour workshop. Those workshops are going to kick off again in the new year. It's 4 hours and it's covering the fundamentals of business. So it's about business planning, things like health and safety, insurance, HR, branding. It really is a really good look at for business owners in terms of whether they're setting up or whether they're looking to make more of their new business. So the next thing that we do is we connect people to organisations. So while we can offer people a lot, often what we need to do is connect them to other agencies that also can support their business objectives. So we link to the likes of the Chamber of Commerce, Callaghan Innovation, New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, Inland Revenue, Whānau Ora, which is looked after here by a number of agencies, including Matawaka. We also often connect people to the Marlborough District Council. We also connect people to a range of professional services. So what we're often dealing with is people who are either new to business or new to Marlborough who need to connect with professional services again to further their business. So you can see on the screen there, we've got a range of professional services that we've got connections for. We never recommend one individual business. We have a number of businesses that we know, that we like, that we have confidence in, and we will share those names with prospective business owners and enable them to link to those services. The next thing that we do is we link to a lot of networking events, a lot of business building events. So I talk to a lot of business owners that say, hey, Brian, look, I know what I'm doing. I don't need a mentor. I'm very good technically, but I simply need more customers. So there are a range of networking options available. You can see the two at the top that we connect to, but don't run ourselves, but connect to strongly. Those are BNI, Business Networking International, which is every Thursday. And the network is, there's 2 events on a Monday, one at 7:30 and one at 9:30. We also run 4 events ourselves, and those are Biz Break, Biz Breakfast, a new one we're calling Tools for Tradies, and a new one that we are calling Youth Biz. The next thing that we do is we connect to Startup Capital. So we have the contract to promote, manage and administer Angel Investors Marlborough, otherwise known as AIM. So the members of AIM are wealthy people who are looking to invest in early stage, high growth businesses. And if you've ever seen Dragon's Den or Shark Tank on TV, we run Marlborough's version of Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. So we get local businesses and national businesses and at times international businesses to pitch to our dragons, to our angels for startup capital. Now, the next slide, in terms of what we've been doing in recent times, of course, is providing COVID-19 recovery assistance. We've been doing that in a number of ways. We've had a number of tools to do that. The tools we have at the moment are $500 vouchers kindly provided by the Marlborough District Council, where we can assist business to access either business advisory service, accounting services, legal assistance, marketing advice and implementation, digital enablement and health and wellbeing. So we're looking to engage with many businesses as possible, see if they meet the criteria, and if they do, get a voucher into their hand. What we also have done over the year is recorded a series of very, very good webinars that we have tapped into some local and national expertise and had people speak about COVID recovery. All of those are on our website. So if you want to tap into those recordings, you simply need to go to businesstrustmarlborough.org.nz. So look, thanks for your time today. Again, sorry that I couldn't be with you. I would love to work with more businesses, particularly in a post-COVID environment, to empower their success. We'll see you another time.
We're into the Q&A part of the session. So there's a range of information you've seen there. So I'm sure you've got some questions. I see there's one on the chat that came through. Mark, do you want to ask your question directly to Holly?
Yeah, sure, Neil. But now that I've asked it, I think I was confusing myself with the extension of the actual repayment period. Holly, there was an extension of the small business loan scheme. The repayment period is now 5 years rather than 3, but I also thought it extended the interest-free period. But now that I think about it, I'm not so sure. But are you able to confirm that the period has actually been extended to 5 years, and if there has been any extension of the interest zero period?
Hi there. So our information shows that it's been extended, so the application process until 2023. I will have to go back and have a look at some of our information and get back to you about the interest side. I haven't been able to find any other information other than what I've provided, but happy to get back to you in the next few days to discuss it.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks. No problem.
Fantastic.
So if people wish to certainly share, come off mute, and also to put their video on if they wish, they can indicate if they would like to ask a question. Otherwise, it's difficult for me to tell if you have got a question. But is anybody else wish to ask anything?
Neil, it's just Liz here. I thought maybe it might be just worth mentioning briefly before we will send out Brian's video, but some of the support that they do have available. So as Catherine mentioned, there is the restriction on the regional scheme that companies do need to be GST registered. Yep. I don't know if you or Mark wanted to talk a bit about the voucher scheme that team funded through the Business Trust Marlborough.
Sure, I can do that. So as some of you hopefully are aware, the team Economic Recovery Group has been meeting for some months, and we've considered a number of projects where we've tried to plug some gaps or do something additional where the many things that are available nationally may not quite cover everything. So one example of that is $500 vouchers per business that we provided to Business Trust Marlborough to provide some additional advice for businesses that may not be eligible for the Regional Business Partner Programme that Catherine just spoke about. So I guess that's what, I haven't seen Brian's presentation, Liz, but I guess that he would have covered that
yes,
as part of what he was saying. So yeah, so we'll include that information out with the pack for this and the recording, so you can see that. But yes, Business Trust Marlborough also can provide support to businesses if for some things that aren't able to be covered by the RBP. Catherine, did you want to say anything?
Oh no, I was just going to say also, in addition to helping businesses that aren't GST registered, I think there are a couple of areas of support that the council vouchers cover that RBP scheme doesn't. So I think access to legal advice might be one of those areas, I think. So yeah, so it has a little bit more breadth.
Thank you.
And mental health areas too.
Okay, have we got any other questions? All on. No one's got a camera or microphone on, so I can't tell if anyone wishes to ask anything. Again, please do use the chat if you're shy. Just a question from me to Michelle around the Connected site. Just to reiterate, you were encouraging people to go and have a look, because I think that's perhaps something people may not have been into the site recently. So is that what you'd like people to do, is to come and introduce themselves to the team there in Blenheim?
Absolutely. Any way you'd like to access it, we're happy to engage with you. But yes, we're ready for you to come on in and talk to us in that space. I just had a meeting there myself before coming onto this Zoom. So yeah, absolutely.
And do you plan to have any events perhaps that might encourage people to come in?
Yeah, we're currently recruiting for some additional roles in that space, and when they come on board, that is part of what their core focus will be, in order to promote the service a bit more, reach out to everyone on this call, and just really let people know as it evolves how they can connect in. Excuse the pun, sorry, that was not intended.
Thank you. Mark, I see you've come on. Have you got a question? Yeah,
I did. A question for Michelle. Just a clarification, Michelle, on that employers, I should say, $16,000 availability for the first year related to training of new employees. Is that, and I know the apprentice one was a TE approved apprenticeship, but the other training, how technical is that, or how much related to approved courses is that? Is it just general training in the industry, or is it specific levels that they have to train to be qualified?
It is specific levels, and it is associated with NZQA or accredited apprenticeships. Yeah. We do have though flexi wage, which isn't at the same level, but can support with things that may be less formal training, more say your time that you may be giving to train someone and looking at that rather than a formal qualification under flexi wage.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. Do we have any other questions? Well,
the only question I had for our speakers was, is there a common, what's the most common support you are giving for businesses in the Marlborough region at the moment, out the back end of COVID-19?
is that a question for each of our speakers?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Start with Michelle.
Start with Michelle then.
Great question. I'm going to answer it on the cuff as you do in these situations. Mana and mahi seems to be the one, so strength and work seems to be the one that is most popular at this point in time to support people to take on individuals permanently, and that subsidies support them during that training period.
So that the subsidy is not just for training, it actually helps you pay the wage of the person you're taking on.
Correct. So the $16,000 is the wage subsidy portion paid to the employer to support the individual. Most of the training is free at this point in time. If the training they're going to undertake is not free, there may be additional funding to physically pay for the training so that an employer is not disadvantaged by their training not being free versus some other training that is.
How about you, Holly? What are you seeing a lot of in your Blenheim contacts?
With our Blenheim contacts, we're seeing a lot of people interested in starting up their own businesses. There's been quite a lot of contact and interest in our introduction to business seminars and our GST workshops. I was over there on the 11th of November doing that at the NMIT. We've had a lot of contacts for virtual advisories as well. So that's been awesome to see lots of interest in self-employment or going into, being directors of companies and things like that. So it's quite interesting to see.
Thank you. And Catherine?
Yeah, so here right at the moment, it's marketing strategy support. So, earlier in the year, we had a lot of businesses working on their financial planning and their business continuity. Now they've kind of got that roughly sorted. They're sort of thinking about, okay, how might I, attract more customers, drive more sales. So marketing strategy has been very popular.
Great, thank you for that. Okay, just another check for any more questions for the panel. Very quiet bunch today. Okay, we'll say we're running ahead of time. We will certainly be circulating the information that's provided today, so much appreciated to all of our speakers. I guess we'll be circulating the PowerPoint presentation as well as the video. So again, please do forward that on to your clients. We'll be circulating the contact details as well. So if you've got any questions you think of afterwards and you'd like to contact them directly, you'll have the ability to do that as well. Just a plug for an event coming up next Tuesday at 4 p.m, the 8th of December at the Convention Centre. You'll be hearing Michelle deliver a presentation again, as well as Mark Peters speak about team. And our main speaker is Brad from Intermediaries, who'll be giving an update on the what they think the economic prospects are for the region. So they've updated the report they did for us back in May. So yes, we'll include registration details for that. But that event's at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, the 8th of December at the Marlborough Convention Centre. Just a final check for any last questions. Okay, there being none, thanks very much for participating today. I hope you found that useful. Thanks again to our speakers. You've done an amazing job this year I know how hard you've all worked with the business support you've been providing after COVID. So much thanks for that. And thanks again for participating today. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Neil.